my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Brianna. I'm a certified personal trainer, a big, huge biology nerd, and a registered dietitian to be. So today we're doing a type of video that I really never thought that I would ever do. We are gonna do a top fails compilation. Normally my videos are really specific on one thing, but it's becoming harder and harder to gather enough videos on one specific topic to make a decent length video about it. I asked you guys about making like an MLM top health or wellness or nutrition fails type compilation, and you guys were all about it, so here we are. As always, we will be using real science, not Hunbot science, to discuss and debunk some of the things that they say. Before we proceed, if you love science-based health, wellness, and fitness education with some funnies and some puppies along the way, hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Without a second further of introductions, let's dive right in. Okay guys, so this first video we're gonna take a look at is a Monate hunt. Actually, these first two videos, we're looking at 3 total videos today. The first 2 we're gonna look at have to do with Monate, I don't even know, who knows. So this first one we're gonna look at, I believe, was an Instagram story. No, it was an IGTV. The point of her story was to tell people how to use Rejuvenate oil, because apparently you need an IQ of at least 130 to be able to apply oil to your hair. We're not gonna watch that part. The only part we're gonna watch is the first like couple minutes of the video. I think it's less than 2 minutes. And she's just gonna blah, blah, blah about Rejuvenate oil and why it's amazing. So here we go.
Hi guys, so I'm actually washing my hair tomorrow, and so I figured why not get on here and show you guys how to do a Monate scalp treatment and basically explain the importance of it. So using our Rejuvenate oil has a blend of 13 all natural essential oils, and it's actually infused in most of our products, our hair and skincare. It's honestly so good for the skin, so good for the hair. It's such a small molecule that actually penetrates 3 layers deep, meaning working from the inside out. There's honestly nothing like this out there, and it balances the pH of the skin.
Okay, really quick. There's nothing like this out there. Okay, that is an awfully big claim. Let's take a quick look at the ingredients list. Based on these ingredients that we see, it's just a cocktail of essential oils. I'm not gonna go through every single one of these, but a couple that stick out are coconut oil, which I have under my sink, which I use on my hair and skin frequently. Another one that we see is bergamot oil, which I have seen before at Ross. There's plenty of products out there like it. Yours is not revolutionary.
And the scalp. Also, want to add, it has shown success in helping those who have psoriasis, eczema, stretch marks, scars, burns, you name it. It does it all. I usually like to keep this.
Okay, sorry. I'm already pausing this. I'm so sorry. It shows success in treating psoriasis, eczema, scars, burns, stretch marks, etc. Pretty sure you can't make claims like that. I tried to do a little bit of research on this, and I didn't find anything from legitimate sources. When I say legitimate sources, guys, it was difficult for me to find stuff that wasn't written by a Monate distributor or somebody who was associated with a company in some way. Those are sources that I'm not gonna trust. So in the meantime, I tried to find a study. I couldn't find anything substantiating her claim.
Product in basically all day, all night. And what's awesome about it is it doesn't leave your pillows super greasy and oily. A lot of the time, if I am going out and I have the treatment on, I'll put on like a beanie, or I'll put on a hat, or I'll even put like a cute little bun, whatever it may be. I usually put it in a bun when I go to sleep. But like I said, I just like to keep it on as long as I possibly can to really just get the full effect of it. But honestly, I think you can leave it up to about 15-20 minutes, and that'll be honestly just as good. So before applying the oil, I like to brush my hair and actually my scalp too, to help basically stimulate my follicle.
Okay, we don't need to see her brush her hair, right? That's not rocket science, is it? No? Good. So that one was short. Consider that one an appetizer for today. The next post we're gonna look at is it's a post, not a video, is also a Monate person hyping up Rejuvenate oil. I don't know why they think this thing is the best thing since canned bread. I've never seen canned bread before except in SpongeBob. I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry. Let's move on to the next one. All right, guys. So this next one is kind of hilarious. It is a Monate Hun Chilling Rejuvenate Oil for the treatment of you'll see. I don't believe it will go against YouTube guidelines, but I just want to throw this in there. Viewer discretion. It's just someone's mouth. I'm just gonna say that. There's no blood. I don't think this is gross, but some people might, so viewer discretion is advised. Here it is. So as we can see, it is somebody's lips, and it looks like they have a cold sore, and they're showing progression from the pictures are 1, 2, and 3. I assume those are days. We're about to find out because we're about to read the post. Who else suffers from cold sores? I have personally experienced a miracle treatment for cold sores, and I have to share this amazing find with all of you. Cold sores, in my opinion, are the worst. They are painful, and most of all, they are so ugly and embarrassing. I work in a corporate office, so I have to walk around with a giant cold sore on my mouth for 5+ days is agonizing. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. You work a corporate job? Blasphemy! Not to mention the medicine available is expensive and doesn't work that well. Plus it turns the area white and makes it even more noticeable. This time I got a cold sore, I started applying Rejuvenique oil to the area immediately. Day 1, the cold sore was pretty large and painful and right in the middle of my lip for the whole world to see. Day 2, I woke up and the sore was gone and all that was there was a scab. Day 3, I woke up and the entire area was healing and the cold sore was gone. This is a miracle treatment for cold sores and cold sufferers everywhere. I'm assuming she meant cold sore sufferers. This oil is amazing. It has over 100 uses. This has to be the most amazing use, I think. If you or someone you know suffers from cold sores and it's hindering their life, keeping them from doing normal day activities, reach out to me. Let me help you get signed up to have the oil on hand to fight your next cold sore. One bottle will last forever because this product is so concentrated and a little bit goes a long way. Goes a long way. Okay, typo. If you want to try it before purchasing, that's fine too. Let me know. I will get you samples tomorrow. Well, aren't you just a doll? Okay. She's calling this a miracle treatment for cold sores. She's saying that her snake oil treatment cured her cold sore. And because of this one loosely controlled experiment, which by the way was funded by her, I am now to believe that. Let's talk a little bit about cold sores, guys. Cold sores are basically tiny little blisters that you get on the outside of your mouth. From my knowledge and education, they are caused by the herpes simplex virus 1. You guys, before you freak out like everyone has herpes. I had a doctor one time tell me that it's easier to identify people who don't have herpes than it is to identify people who do have herpes. Herpes is a virus, meaning it's resistant to antibiotics. And it often has to be treated by antiviral medications such as Valtrex, which is a prescription medication. As far as topical treatments, the only FDA-approved, non-prescription antiviral treatment for cold sores that you can get over the counter is Abreva. I think now is an opportune time to tell you guys about my little funny herpes story. I think this was a couple years ago when we were still living in Florida. I woke up one morning and I had like a growth type thing. It was on my left eye and it was to the left of my iris. So it was on the white part of my eye and it just kind of looked like it was just like a raised area. It didn't hurt, but it felt like every time I blinked something was in my eye. And that's what I thought initially. I didn't think anything of it. So I think another day or two passed and then it started to get bigger. Not to the point that I couldn't blink in my eye or that it was swelling really bad, but it just started to get more annoying. And I was like, okay, this obviously isn't right. I thought it would get better and it didn't resolve itself. So I make a doctor's appointment and I go to my primary care practitioner. She takes a look at it. She was like, I think that might be a herpes outbreak. And I was like, come again? And she's like, I think that might be a herpes flare-up, a herpes simplex 1 flare-up. And I was like, in my eyeball? I had never heard of a flare-up like on anywhere else, like except the genitals or the mouth. So I was like really surprised. I was like, you think it's on my eyeball? And she was like, yeah, well, you can have a herpes flare-up anywhere on your body, which I didn't know. So she was like, yeah, you know, I'm not positive. I think that's what it might be. So I'm gonna prescribe you some Valtrex. That's how I know about Valtrex, and refer you to an ophthalmologist. So she did just that. She sent me home and I took Valtrex and I made an appointment with the eye doctor. Couldn't get an appointment with the eye doctor for like another 3 or 4 days or something like that. And in that time I was taking the Valtrex because, you know, my doctor recommended me to. And she was like, If it is a herpes outbreak, the Valtrex will help. And if it's not, well, then now you have Valtrex. A funny thing about this story is I go home and I tell Ace, and then he calls me eyeball herpes for like that whole entire week. So after like maybe 2 days, the thing on my eye started to actually go down and it started to get better. And by the time my eye doctor appointment came, it was completely gone. Because I was taking the Valtrex, it was kind of like, you know, I was like, okay, so this thing went down. I started taking the Valtrex. I guess I did have herpes eyeball because it went away from the Valtrex. That is what I had deduced, obviously. I go to the eye doctor and explain everything to him and, you know, told him my PCM thought that it said that looks like a herpes simplex 1 outbreak. She gave me Valtrex, blah, blah, blah. He takes a look at my eye and he's like, no, you had a conjunctival cyst, which is a cyst on my conjunctiva. The conjunctiva is basically like the thin mucous membrane that lines your eyeball. So yeah, he was like, no, you just had a conjunctival cyst. And I was like, oh. And I kind of joked and I was like, oh, so I don't have eyeball herpes. He's like, no, it wasn't a herpes outbreak. And then he was like, you know what, like everyone has herpes, all right. And I was like, yeah, I know, it's no big deal. And then he told me something really interesting. You know, not a lot of things in medical science are 100% or concrete, but most medical professionals agree that by the time we reach adulthood, almost 100% of people will have herpes simplex 1. And I was like, oh, great, cool. That was it. That was the end of my little herpes story. So now I have a Valtrex. I've actually never had a cold sore, but I, for like a week, thought I had herpes eyeball. So there it is. Oh, you guys thought I was gonna sit here and tell you about all the herpes that I have? False. Pervert. Anyway, don't listen to this Monate Hun, or any of them really. Don't spend a dime on this oil that has very basic ingredients, and by the way, is distributed by an MLM company. Okay guys, so this last one is, I have saved the best for last. This last one is an absolute travesty. Not so much for the claims that are made in it, but for the fact that this person is so recklessly irresponsible to spread such dangerous information to a high-risk group of people. Before I show the video, I have a few things I need to say. We're going to talk about the disease diabetes mellitus, aka diabetes. I'm a former school health technician, school nurse, but I'm not a registered nurse, guys. The biggest parts of my job were medication administration and diabetes care, specifically type 1 diabetes. We'll discuss the difference between type 1 and type 2 in a minute. I have worked with CGMs, continuous glucose monitors like Dexcoms. I've manually calculated insulin, I've drawn up insulin, and I have injected children with insulin. And I'm trained in emergency treatment for diabetes, such as how to use glucagon. My undergraduate degree is in biology, in which I've learned extensive human anatomy and physiology, and yes, talked quite a bit about diabetes and the science behind it. One of my goals, on top of becoming a bariatric dietitian, is to also become a certified diabetes educator. I say all this because I want you guys to understand my knowledge on diabetes before I talk about it. I'm confident talking about this stuff. However, if there are any healthcare professionals out there watching this video and I am wrong about anything, comment down below and I'm going to pin your comment. It's important for me to share science-based evidence and information with you guys. And if I'm wrong about something, I want to know about it, not just for you, but for me too. All that said, you guys, reminder, I'm not a healthcare professional. If you have any questions about your diabetes care, speak with your provider. One last note. If you have seen my video on the Beachbody coach who hates gluten, then this person won't see your face because I'm blurring faces now. This person's voice may sound a bit familiar to you. I bring this up because she actually saw that video and was not a fan. But nonetheless, she was very, very sweet and we actually had a very civil conversation. One thing that she revealed to me was that she was actually in the process of becoming a registered dietitian. She was in school to be an RD, but dropped out just before graduating. That fact will make what you were about to see that much more alarming. Roll it.
Well, good morning. So for my type 2 insulin dependent people that would love to get off that medication, there are natural ways that you can help along the way. So there's something called cinnamotannins, and it's what's in cinnamon that gives it that reddish color, and that actually acts as a mimic for insulin. So if you incorporate cinnamon in your meals, maybe have some cinnamon tea, or you can actually get organic cinnamon capsules. So after your meal, you can take a little bit of the cinnamon oil. It helps slow down carbohydrates turning into sugar, which lessens the load of your body needing insulin, which is huge for creating that insulin sensitivity. I'll show you a picture of I just went and looked of maybe a cinnamon oil that you could consider. It was only like 17 bucks, but something like that after a large meal. So good.
Who the hell do you think you are? Let's talk about some things. First of all, type 2 diabetes is not the one commonly referred to as insulin-dependent diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is insulin-resistant diabetes. The beta cells of the pancreas secrete insulin, but the body cells become resistant to insulin over time, which means they're not able to absorb it. And that means blood glucose levels can skyrocket. Hence the name insulin-resistant diabetes. On the other hand, in type 2 diabetes, the pancreas still produces insulin, but it just doesn't produce enough. Type 2 diabetes is considered preventable and is generally believed to be brought on by an unhealthy lifestyle. If type 2 diabetes is not managed well enough through diet and exercise, then sometimes more invasive measures need to be taken. This can come in the form of medications such as metformin or insulin therapy. Type 1 diabetes is referred to as insulin-dependent diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is also sometimes referred to as juvenile diabetes because the onset is typically seen in childhood. In type 1 diabetes, the beta cells of the pancreas do not produce insulin. Therefore, a type 1 diabetic needs insulin injections, hence the name insulin-dependent diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is believed to be autoimmune. So, before I completely wreck her, I want to say that she is not 100% wrong in what she's saying. In a study published by care.diabetesjournal.org through the American Diabetes Association, it was found that cinnamon intake reduced serum glucose levels, as well as other health biomarkers such as total cholesterol and triglycerides in people with type 2 diabetes. In this study, 500 milligrams of cinnamon was ground up and put into capsules. The placebo group was given capsules with wheat flour. The study also concluded that cinnamon may be beneficial for the general public to help control blood glucose levels and to prevent high blood sugar. Now, who in this world does this Beachbody coach think she is? Not only are you not a registered dietitian or healthcare professional, but you don't even know the difference in identifying type 1 versus type 2 diabetes. This advice is dangerous. This advice will get someone killed. This person has almost 250,000 Instagram followers. What if one of her followers has a friend with diabetes, doesn't know which type, and says, hey, this girl on the internet who's an NTP, nutrition therapy practitioner, which we talked about in my gluten video about this person, which is a certification that really doesn't have a leg to stand on when it comes to being a registered dietitian. Some person's like, hey, this girl said you can get off your insulin if you just take cinnamon. Then that person's friend who might be a type 1 diabetic listens, probably not though, because if somebody's been living with type 1 diabetes for most of their life, then they know what's what. Listens to this, stops taking their insulin, starts using cinnamon oil or whatever, develops diabetic ketoacidosis or DKA, which is a condition in which your blood sugar gets so high that your body starts releasing ketone bodies into your blood, which can make your blood acidic, and they wind up hospitalized or even dead. Do you guys want to know something kind of funny? One of my IG friends, who is a registered dietitian, actually sent me, a dietetic student, this video clip, and she was like, check this out or whatever. I chuckled because I had actually already seen this clip and screen recorded it, and I was going to send it to her. So low-key, I was kind of flattered that she sent it to me, you know. I'm just a little dietetic student here, and she's a full registered dietitian, and she sent it to me, and she was like, oh my God, look at this. I just remember responding to her and be like, what do you think about this, Miss Registered Dietitian? She responds to me with, and I quote, she is nuts. That kind of advice is dangerous. I wish I could unsee this video clip, you guys. The terrible workouts they share are bad enough, but this has to be the most reckless thing I've ever seen a Beachbody person share on their social media. Do not listen to this person. She has no credentials. If you happen to be watching this again, I mean this with the highest amount of respect that is due. Beachbody coach is not a credential. Why do I have to keep saying that? I'm really gonna lose my mind if I have to keep on saying. Okay, let's wrap this up before I give myself a damn aneurysm. MLM coaches are not required to have any knowledge in nutrition, wellness, fitness, human physiology. They are not required to have any background education or certification in any of these areas. The only requirement to call yourself a coach is buying a starter pack. And that, my friends, is a travesty, and it needs to end. MLM coaches, please sit down. Please stop spreading dangerous misinformation. Stop calling yourselves coaches when you're not. Stop thinking that your products are gifts from the gods. Stop scamming and taking advantage of people. Just stop it. All right, guys, if you made it to the end of this video, phew. Thank you so much for staying with me. That ride got a little bit rocky, as it usually tends to do, to be honest. Follow me on Instagram for updates and pictures of my dogs, selfies of me, the occasional exercise demonstration, and just general shenanigans. I appreciate the influx of new subscribers. I heard that somebody named Beatrice Caruso shouted me out. How freaking awesome. I'd never even heard of her. She has like 300K something subs. She shouted me out. I found out, and it was after that I started getting, like, I already kind of had a crazy wave of subs, but like they kept on coming, and I started seeing people put in my comment section like, I'm here because B sent me. I was like, who is this person? So I figured it out. Thank you so very much for the shout out. Thank you to everybody for the support. We're at 10K subs now, you guys. I seriously can't believe it. I don't even know what to say other than thank you so much for the love. Okay, I'm gonna stop babbling now because I know you guys want to see the dogs. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Zeus, can you believe we have 10,000 subscribers? Can you believe it? You can't believe it. Do you want to do the outro? You gonna do it? You are so cute. Sounds like Alpha. Zeus! Oh, this is what Zeus does. You guys are so lucky you caught him doing neighborhood watch. Zeus, can you say bye? Say bye. Alright, he's busy. He's on patrol. Say bye, Zeus. Say bye. You say bye, stud? Bye.